It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Games Beat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where I'm messing up the intro now because the music's here. We have the music happening live. So I'm going to mess this up. This is the podcast where we decide everything in the world of video games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In this episode, we got Christmas cheer. It's that time of year. Mike's birthday's coming up, and he's not going to let anyone forget it.
Yeah, it's way more important.
And
Happy
then
birthday. Happy birthday, Paulie.
Happy birthday, Paulie.
Happy birthday, Paulie.
That is a very good present.
What do you think about seeing Sylvester Stallone with a beard?
I thought it was very powerful. It made me feel patriotic.
Yeah, makes
Absolutely.
me feel something. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. All right.
In today's episode, we got news. We got some games. We don't have actually very much news. We'll answer some questions, stuff like that.
Yeah. I want to. Anti Macro in chat said, "Don't roll your eyes at Christmas cheer, Minotti." I did not. Nobody likes Christmas cheer more than Mike Minotti. I meant to wear my Santa hat today. Look, I got another Christmas beer this time. This one brewed very locally in Youngstown, Ohio, from Penguin City Beer.
That looks delicious. That's just great packaging. Ale. That's a very good can.
Yeah. Yes, it's a very nice can. It's a winter warmer. It's surprisingly dark, a little chocolatey, good roasted notes. So cheers.
First, though, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at gamesbeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email us at gamespluspodcast@adventurebeat.com. That's the plus sign, or get us on Twitter at gamesbeat. Thank you to Carlos Ain, who gives us our normal theme song. Right now, we're using the Christmas theme song from, you said Christmas Nights, right? Is that what it's from?
What isn't that? Didn't Dale North make that?
I think that's our closing music. Our closing music is Christmas Nights. I could just, let's just play it. Let's just see what it is.
That's Christmas Nights right there.
Okay, it was? All right.
Yeah, and I think Dale North made that remix.
Dale North made one of these two songs. Absolutely. I know that for sure. I can't remember which one's which. So also thank you to Dale North, our old coworker, who now just spends his entire life making video game music and seems very happy with that. I'm happy for him.
Good job.
If you're listening to this on the website Player Widget or watching on YouTube, there's an audio version of the show you can subscribe to on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where pods are caught. And yeah, if you like the show, tell a friend or rate us wherever you're listening, or give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It helps people find the show. We appreciate that. Should we just do this, Mike? Should we just talk about Astro a little bit, or
just talk about Astro? You're not gonna put that stupid thing up, are you?
No, of course not. Hey, it didn't work.
Oh
God, it's not working.
Good, glad, good. It shouldn't work. You just always time. Oh, for God's sake, get it out of here. There were
everybody.
7 lead changes this week. You got instead of spending time with your family on Thanksgiving,
I can't hear you.
Trying to make a record. Oh my gosh. Well,
okay, so yes, you're right. There's been. Hang on, let me get off this.
Get rid of it.
All right, hang on. Let me turn off studio mode. I think it'll work. Let me go back to. Nope, that's the wrong button.
Like that, I'm just leaving. Okay, good.
All right, okay. Don't leave, Mike. Come on. Just because I'm a sore winner doesn't mean you have to leave.
You're so okay. So so the last time we left last week, you were on top, and it started getting crazy because now we're both competing this thing. We're going in and out of the top 10.
Yeah,
but I discovered that you infiltrated the inner circle of the top speedrunners and had been getting help and tips from them.
Infiltrated is such an overstatement.
Yeah, right.
They just they saw my tweets, and so when he saw our tweet where you showed me to go up into the left on the cliff, and then that's when Bayleaf saw it, and Bayleaf's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go try this right now, take it back." And then I was like, "Oh, damn you!" And that's when I started talking to him. And so then when he did it, and he said a really good time, he's like, "Do you want me to make a video of this?" I'm like, "Yeah." So in the video, he says, "Oh, hey Jeff, here you go." But it wasn't like I infiltrated anything.
Now go beat Mike is what he said in the one tweet. Now go. But I saw he was streaming, so I went in there to watch.
What all good and right people say.
Oh, hey, Jeff's back. Oh, you're some long lost friend. Give me a break. Don't downplay it. Don't downplay it.
Now, have you watched? I should just keep this to myself. But have you watched Zelius's video, the breakdown of it?
Is there new tech, or is it just a breakdown of how it happens?
It is. It's a very good explainer of how to do how to do those both big skips that we've been struggling with pretty consistently, and now I'm starting to hit them pretty consistently.
Right.
Finally.
So I haven't seen that, but so there was another big skip development now involving this glitch where if you punch right before you leave a ledge, you can hover do the spin jump, and then hover again. And like early on, if you time this just right, you can skip a very large portion. And I started to get that a lot more consistently. Maybe watching this video you're talking about will help. So like that, like I'm really honestly not that upset with your time right now, because I know I still have this run in me where I have to
Yeah.
nail everything. And then I want to see what my time is when I do that. And
Yeah.
once I do that, unless like there's more tech, I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah, no,
We
I mean, I
might
think
wind it down here. I don't know.
yeah, no, I think we're getting down to the like. I think we're squeezing everything out of this that we possibly can. So, like I'm, like right now I'm like 7/10, maybe half a second at best away from the world record time. And it's like okay, so that then now it's just about optimization, and I don't know if I could do much, but it would just be like
You're
getting
only
everything
like
perfect.
I think you're only a tenth above me right now.
Maybe, yeah,
Or maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah. I think I'm like 30 with 33. I think I got into the 3340s is where I got.
yeah.
So
it's getting. I mean, it was funny because like we thought this was winding down last week, and then we had like 7 or 8 lead changes
right.
this last week. It was still going back and forth like crazy. So it's it's ridiculous how far this has gotten. Yeah, you thought it was over last week. You're like, oh, it's over. It's not over.
Ben's right. I think you just sound very upset, is what it sounds like. You just sound very upset about your time trying to
I don't
cover
sound
it up.
nearly as upset. Last week I was upset because I thought last week I worked really hard to get that one time that you then like beat like an hour later or something.
I could tell you now that I had been playing that entire time and you beat me, and like the good run just came after that. Like you posted, oh, you know, I beat you, and after like an hour and a half of playing, it just worked out that the timing was like, oh, 5 minutes later I beat your time right away. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's one more run to me. Somebody showed us that you can find out how many times you've actually run that level, which was interesting. So over 2,000 for me.
Yeah, but I'm approaching 3,000 now for sure. Yeah. It's
so I have significantly fewer attempts than you.
Yes, yeah,
I don't
totally.
know if that's good or bad for me.
Yeah, I think well, a big part of that is I got really into this level, but I also really needed to get good at this level to like, because it's the level that gives me a bunch of time over Dan Reichert, who I'm also beefing with. But because he's really good at all the motion control games, and those are hard.
You guys are, because like the game also tracks your overall time on all of them.
Yeah, all eight. Yeah, it's good.
I'm not delving into that.
Smart. You're a smart man. Yeah, because those motion control games are frustrating. They're fun if you're just like having a good time, but if you're trying to shave as much time off as possible, it's waggle. It's just like waggle, and it's like this is not precise, and I hate it.
The motion control stuff. No,
Yeah.
I mean I like this level we're doing because it is actually very fun and interesting, and I'm learning a lot of. It's funny because like having watched like those summoning solve videos, right? Like it feels like I'm living one of those out of real time.
Yep.
It's like, oh, we're fighting for this thing, and then all of a sudden somebody finds this trick and everything changes.
Yeah.
I'm like watching the stream of the guy as he gets the world record. It's insane. I'm like, it's funny how like Bayleaf's like he's this really nice guy. He's the speedrunner, and I'm like almost like starstruck that he knows who I am, because I'm like, he ran Super Mario Odyssey at Games Done Quick one year, and he had Spike Vegeta on his couch. Oh my god!
I did have like this we call it a fantasy of us sitting on the couch while Bayleaf plays this game at a future AGDQ, and the best part of the fantasy is when they introduce us, they say, oh, here's Mike Minotti, Jeff Grubb, they're games journalists, and everyone just boos really hard. It cracks me up every time I think of this thing. That's never going to happen, but it's just very funny to me.
What would happen?
I don't know. It'd be very funny though. I think if we could get them to boo us, I would like that a lot, actually.
You think this thing, because this thing's gotten slightly visible now, do you think we've done any good for the whole game journalists are bad at video games thing?
Oh no, there's no one doing that. We should
cares.
be in a fair world. Of course we have, but it's not a fair world, and this will just get forgotten when the next time we need to say the games journalists are bad.
When Dean's bad at Cuphead, it's like national news. When me and you are like in the top 10 all time of something, no one gives a shit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's been fun though, and people seem to be interested in it, and that's fun too.
Yeah, it's been good stuff.
You singing?
What does she want?
She just wants to. She's just singing.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. If she keeps that, I'll turn on a video broadcast. Yeah.
So yeah, I know I got at least one. Honestly, I almost don't think I want to go for it today because I got a lot of online shopping and stuff to do, and honestly, there's a pretty big game I'm reviewing that I should be focusing on. And I'm like behind on it because I just keep playing the same level in Astro's Playroom. So gotta
Yep.
get on that.
Yep. It's like really time to be playing games for Game of the Year because November's over now. I should be like looking back and seeing what games I need to catch up on. And I guess, I do think we are at the end though. I think this is the end. Like, I mean, you could try to like really hard to get the perfect run, but it is now about perfecting this. And new tech seems like it's unlikely, and if it does come, it'll probably come forever from now when some mad person discovers some new thing we would never would have thought of.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been fun. We'll see how much further it can go. I don't think it's going to be another super crazy week or anything.
No, yeah.
It's Record. You don't know what I've been playing. Hush.
I know. The person's like, "Oh, how is Cyberpunk?" It's like there are other big games coming out. All right, so let's get into the news. So let's just get the news, and then we'll do the questions. It's going to be a short episode, everybody. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's Black Friday. If you're listening to this live, I hope we're keeping you company while you're also browsing for deals or whatever. Listening to it later this weekend. I guess same thing. The deals will be going all through the weekend and then into next week.
We're going to start finding some things to do. I almost want to do there's like that program people do to make tier lists. We should start doing like that a show.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, if we need segments like through these slow weeks, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll take a look at that. All right. So first up, I guess this I just kind of want to do a quick checkup on this PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Still very difficult to find through Black Friday. That's fine. It's just not going to change. I think it's going to be the kind of thing where every time it's available, it's going to sell out instantly, and we saw that multiple times this week. I think Walmart had it for a little bit, and it was in stock for less than a minute before it sold out. So it's just gonna come down to luck. It's gonna be whether or not the server gods like pick your number. So
yeah,
it's I've got family trying to grab it, so I'm trying to help them where I can. But it's still like I wasn't able to get a PS5 like the natural way. I had to go and have someone send me one who had multiple ones.
And help you.
Yeah, someone helped me, and it was like, so it's it's difficult. I
technically got two because I got the one for review, and I did actually pre-order one, which I'm a very good guy. I am not corrupt. I sold it for price to just somebody who I knew who wanted one. Yep. I could have probably made twice as much on that, but
easily it seems like. I think it's
just so incredible.
I know those prices were really high, like the first days afterward. I wouldn't be surprised as we get to closer to Christmas is to see the price of like the average sales price on eBay continue to spike. So it's gonna
desperate parents and all that.
Exactly, yeah, and
I think that's a lot of that.
Yeah, yes, it absolutely, and then if it's a Turbo Man situation. I think both consoles are in the Turbo Man situation. I'm trying to think what's Booster, like Booster Gold. No, that's the name of the DC
I think a Google Stadia is a booster.
Yes, that's what it is. Google Stadia. Yes, perfect. Yes.
Here, look, I've got Booster right here.
I got you a new video game thing. Yeah. There it is.
They're giving them away. That's why I have one. They're giving them away now. Like literally, that's why I have it. They're like, you can have one for free, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll take a free controller for my PC.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and it's good for that.
They should have just called it the Google Booster.
bought that character's rights and used it as the mascot. That would have been perfect. Yeah.
Nobody wants you, Booster, man.
Yes. I want to edit that scene of Sinbad yelling about Booster and just replace it with Stadia. Yeah.
Jingle All the Way is a good movie. So people are like, oh, but it's like stupid and silly. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. What are you talking?
It's a Christmas comedy with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
The problem with most Christmas movies is that they're usually about people who don't like Christmas, and this movie's about like a bunch of people just trying to make sure everyone's having a good Christmas, and those are always the best Christmas movies. Like if you're stressed out about like making sure you're doing right by everyone, that's a universal experience. The like, oh, we're gonna teach this person to love Christmas. No one does that. No one goes through that. If someone doesn't like Christmas, okay, don't like it. I don't give a shit. Like it's not. This doesn't matter to me. But
do you have an all-time favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Christmas Vacation, and it's because of that. It's about a person who loves Christmas so much, and is like the only bad part about it is they love it so much they want everyone to have as much a good a time as they remember having as a kid, and that's absolutely the universal experience for me, and I really, really like appreciate it. Also, it's just like it goes and it's funny, and there's a bunch of great scenes, and then it just ends, and it's kind of like the perfect Christmas movie where it's like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, it's just kind of fizzles out. Now it's time to go eat more leftovers.
Right?
What's that?
Yeah. It's almost like sketch comedy with this kind of loose narrative
Yes.
thread with the Christmas bonus kind of keeping things together.
And honestly, I mean Chevy Chase, whatever. Like it's his experience here is, or his acting is just reacting to everything around him, and his face is so funny that he doesn't have to say anything to crack me up. Every time he reacts to something and he screws up his face or whatever, I'm just like dying. It's really a good movie.
Yeah, I'm still a Home Alone man myself.
Love Home Alone.
Probably Home Alone 2 even. I have this weird like I love movies that are like just kind of like it's this, but it's in this city, like New York City or Vegas, because I kind of feel like I'm on vacation.
Well, I mean,
like there's just that montage where he's driving around that limo and like seeing like Christmas trees and like the sights in New York. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, me too. You know, I'm liking Miles Morales because of that. I'm also like listening to gaming podcasts, and there's like a lot of gaming podcasts of people who live in New York, and listening to them talk about Miles Morales and being like, man, it like almost hurts to see this stuff because it's like we're missing out on this year, and it's like really tough, and like, but it feels so good to see in the game, and like hearing people in New York talk about New York that way, because normally they have to be like they play it cool, right? Like, oh, Times Square, all that bullshit, whatever. I just got to get to work, get out of my way. I'm walking here, and then when it really comes down to it, they're very much just like the rest of us and being like, oh, New York, it's so magical during the holiday season. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I was just thinking about it because I was in New York for Christmas once, and it was 15 years ago, like almost to this day.
Yep.
So
yeah, last time I was in New York for close to that time of year was the PlayStation 4 launch, the launch event that they had in New York City. It was like approaching that time, so it was like it was getting wintry and it felt cool. What's that?
The one our friend Joey got the first PlayStation 4.
Yes, yeah, totally. Yeah, it's where I hung out with him for one of the nights, and then the next night he went and stood in line and got the first PS4. Yeah, absolutely. They're hard to buy. That's the end of that story. And
they're doing well.
Yes, they're selling very well. It's just they're going to be supply constrained into next year easily, and a big part of this is just we talked about this. They use the same TSMC process as the Ryzen chips and the Radeon graphics cards, and then these two consoles, and it's like they're all new and all coming out right now, and they're fighting for capacity, and there's a limited amount of that, and bots are a problem, but it's really just about the supply. It really is. So it'll get figured out eventually, but for now, it's just going to be hard to buy for months. A couple other just quick stories. Let's just pop through these. Marvel's Avengers hasn't recouped its development costs yet. I guess, man, that game seems like
we know that.
Go ahead.
We know that it hasn't met their projections, and this just solidifies that.
Yes.
And we've seen these kind of games like this, these game sort of things turn things around, like Rainbow Six Siege, and even Fallout 76 has done that a bit. Final Fantasy 14 is a giant example. They're trying to with Anthem. It'll be interesting to see if they stick with it like that. The problem is it seems like the new content, which is really characters, is coming in at a really, really small drip. Like we know that the there's that Kate something is coming soon, and then I think Hawkeye after that, and then Spider-Man, and it seems like each of these are separated by like months at a time.
Yeah.
Can you just create a button that says "Shut up, Mike" that you can send a chat? By the way.
Yeah, I did, and it worked. It worked well. I'm
glad that's what you were doing as I started to talk about something.
Well, you know what? I just wanted to see if it worked. I need to know that it's going to be there when I really need it, Mike. So I got to like test it and see how it's going to work. So I'm glad it's there for me.
My true fans in chat will just yell back, "Shut up, Jeff!" anytime you use that button.
So. Well, we'll see how that goes for you. So.
Oh, they're there. There's dozens of us. I mean, they're all in the Illuminati.
Oh God. I mean, it's a good name, but still, I hate it when you say it out loud like that. I agree with you. I think what else can they do? I guess they can have like branded levels and stuff, and that's like based on the movies and things like that. But it is gonna be mostly about characters, right?
Yeah, I mean they need more interesting cooperative gameplay. Like when I'm playing with my brothers, it's kind of fun, but it's also like I wish that like it was like a thing where it's like I have to do this so that the other character can do this. there's like one thing that kind of does that, where you have to like activate these like switches in the correct order. But even then, you could still probably just have one person do it, and you'll be fine. It's
Yeah.
just faster if you cooperate. And there's 3 boss fights in the game, really, maybe 4. There's like a giant robot. There's Taskmaster. There's
Yeah.
MODOK. I don't even know if you fight beyond in the campaign. And then there's the Abomination. It's like there's gotta be
Yeah, you
more
got. I
than
mean, God, it's like the game. It didn't bomb in terms of like total sales. Like clearly, it's struggling. Clearly, if it hasn't recouped its costs yet, I guess that is a bomb technically. But like, it sold like 3 million copies, and
yeah, it's not right.
that,
It's a bit of a Rise of the Tomb Raider situation, or the Tomb Raider reboot. Remember, everyone
yeah,
was
but
like
like,
asked that a game sold like millions of copies and didn't meet projections. Well, that's just business, right?
yeah, but it's like looking at it from like the content within the game, it doesn't feel like the game that they delivered should have cost so much money that it couldn't have recouped its costs after 3 million copies sold. Like, I thought it was like disappointing in, oh yeah, of course it recouped its money, but like we needed to really be a home run to justify all the choices we made. And it's like not even recouping the cost yet. How much did this game cost to make? That is wild.
Well, the cost includes licensing, right?
I guess it does. I guess I guess that's that expensive.
I bet they paid a lot for the Avengers license, and they may have even, who knows, they may have been rigged over. Well, this is what you have to pay for the Captain America license, and this is what you have to pay for the Hulk license, and here's what you had, right? Like, I don't know how that works. It might have been that crazy. The weird thing is, I like Avengers 5.
Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't
played it for a while.
I haven't finished the campaign, but I want to. I'm really enjoying it, and it's like one of those games where it's like when I got the hardware, I'm like, I would use it. I would test it because Avengers was like running. It's rough on PC. It was like it required like a beefy GPU and a good CPU. So it was like a game like, oh, this is a good one to test, and I'd go and test it out and be like, oh man, I wish I could just play it right now instead of just testing the same level over and over. And so I plan to try to play through it before the end of the year. But I guess I just don't know why they let their. I mean, you're right. It has to mostly be those licensing fees on top of like the expense of making a AAA game these days. But
right. And I think like they had a multi-game deal, I think. So maybe like there's some kind of long-term thing to that where for the next, like those licenses are paid for now. So maybe for the next game, like the quote-unquote cost of it is lower. If there is a next game, I don't know.
Right. Oh well, for Square Enix, who makes Marvel's Avengers, they are they announced that news, and they also announced that they are going to permanently allow their employees to begin working from home starting on December 1st. So, if you are an employee of Square Enix, you can go in the office, but if you want to work from home, they're going to enable that. I think this is a move in the right direction, and one of those things where I think people, obviously people learned during the the COVID pandemic that's ongoing, that you could get most of the work done that is required to do your job from home almost without any issue. And if you are creative in the way you set up the way that your co-working spaces work online, it shouldn't be too much of a hurdle to ensure that it's about the same as coming into an office. So,
hey, as somebody who lives in suburban Ohio and likes it and wants to stay here, I'm always glad to see like more people being like, yeah, everyone can just work from home.
Yeah, same. It's like I think that there's like I guess this we don't have to get talk about our profession specifically, but for games journalism was always moved to San Francisco and then maybe moved to like one of a couple other cities, but mostly moved to San Francisco.
And it's stupid.
It's very stupid. And in recent years, it's so stupid I'd never even considered it anymore. I would never even thought like, I'm not going to move to San Francisco. First of all, I don't like San Francisco, but also it's very expensive to the point where this job wouldn't make sense anymore for me compared to like, it's a Chris Rock joke, like, well, women can't go down. It's like, I could like deal with some things, but I'm not going to like make my family move to a smaller place just so I can write about video games in a different city. Right. That is a wild notion.
From having a lawn and like all this stuff.
And like, I could kind of work from anywhere and do anything, and I'll roll with the punches. But it's just like the idea to like shape other people's lives that are like related to me, that I've married and I've created as children. Like it doesn't like it's just stupid. Like to write about video games, you
would literally be the father from Inside Out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I don't want to be that guy. That guy's an a-hole.
Yeah, screw that guy.
You watch that movie all the time. It's one of those movies where it's like, oh God, my child's very emotional. She watches this movie and it gets like broken up immediately. I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. She got that from Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb's run hot.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah. All right. So 2 more stories. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salam, becomes the majority shareholder of SNK, like the makers of Metal Slug and King of
I've
Fighters.
heard that it's not necessarily majority shareholder. Like he just has the most shares, which I guess is a difference that I don't understand.
Okay,
maybe.
yeah, I copied this. So yes, that would be a difference. So it'd just be like the largest shareholder, I guess, and not in terms of his physical size. Mohammed bin Salam had a journalist murdered, so I don't want to like skate over that. That's this is a bad person. And taking money from him is taking blood money. But
he likes WWE though.
He does love WWE, and this is all part of like that stuff where they're trying to diversify their economy because they're so reliant on oil, and they can clearly see the finish line for fossil fuels at some point in the future, and they don't want to be at the behest of like a global economy that's shifting away from their one commodity.
Clearly, so Metal Slug and Fatal Fury is their way out.
So yeah, so I think they're like thinking about video games as a way out, and it's like, okay. I mean, hey, I love me some SNK games, so go for it.
I just because I was talking to some of like the OG SNK of America people earlier this year because they're making like that new home like arcade machine thing.
Right.
So I wonder if there's if that is part of this or what. It's weird. It almost seems like a Mad Libs, right? Like you just insert random like world leader, insert random country, random game company. Like, what the hell? Why SNK?
Yeah, I wonder how those decisions get made, or if it's just like, oh, they like picked up the phone, or like they answered the call, I guess. Or if it was just like maybe honestly, it could be suppose like one of the like crown princes, like one of the, like his many sons or whatever, likes SNK games a lot because that and they just told him about it. Like, all right, let's bring some video game development here.
I guess so.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I guess take the money. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's blood money, but it's like it's better than giving him money. I guess take the money away from him and then pay other people. It's like a really complicated thing, but
I don't know.
It's
above my pay grade.
Exactly. It's like it is an ethical dilemma of which I have never faced, and so I haven't really put much thought into it. Exactly.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
No, I'm over here in my Mickey Mouse pajama pants and my Jurassic Park shirt.
I got my Super Mario Brothers shirt on. I'm a very mature person, but this one might be even too tough for me. Cuphead DLC was delayed again. That's a bummer. It's into 2021 now, but I guess we had a hunch that it was going to be not coming out this year.
I don't know. Are there that many people right now? It's like, oh man, what am I going to do now that I can't play more Cuphead right now?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're like, people want to get past stuff like Cyberpunk, and then we can like reassess like what our future of gaming looks like. But for now, I think everyone's fine with like, yeah, if you got a game like that or DLC like that, go ahead and delay it. I guess before we move on to questions, which I'll bring up, have you gotten any good gaming deals? Have you made any Black Friday purchases? I know that most of us stuff, like, we get a lot of our games for our job, so it's like a different kind of thing for us. But yeah, anything?
No, I haven't even really looked. I've been pretty lucky, kind of just getting these things right now. I've been plenty busy playing. We'll talk about it. I mean, there's the game I'm reviewing. The Shadowlands expansion just launched for World of Warcraft, and I barely touch as much as that as I should. And like my friends wanted to play Among Us nights. We did a lot of that, and we still play Overwatch a lot. So no, I'm busy.
Yeah. All right. So we got some questions here. Let's see. Here's one for Ben Gilbert, who was in chat. I don't know if he's still listening, but if he is, hi Ben. He asks, are resellers bad? Why/why not? I think it's hard to make the argument that they are not bad. I could try.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good. I could try to be like a devil's advocate here. This is arbitrage, right? It's arbitrage selling where, you buy something for a low price and then you take it to a different market and you sell it for higher. But here it's like the market's the same thing. You were able to buy it first and then resell it at a higher price. And when it's arbitrage, the idea is like, oh, if you go to one country and you could buy something for cheap and then you take it and then you sell it in another country where that one thing is also more expensive. It's like, yeah, you're kind of scummy because you're not really adding anything, except for you are making it maybe more convenient for someone in that country who wants to have access to this thing, and the reason it's more expensive is because it's hard to find, and you are offering them a way to buy it. Here, it's not working that exact way. It is definitely just people are either getting lucky or they're using technology that most people don't have access to scoop up the available supply, and then and because it's so limited and it's going to be limited, you could just turn around and make money. It doesn't really serve. I guess they're just trying to make money. I guess that's the best thing you could say about them, right? It's like they're just trying to make money, and they saw an opportunity and they took it. And
like it's an inevitability.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I still think that's bad. I wouldn't do it. But it's
I would never do it, and unless I'm desperate, I'm not going to buy something that's on resale.
Right, and
it's like I bought a resale of Dragon 7 for the 3DS because you can't find it anywhere anymore.
Right, and I think and I think that's the one perspective where like you'd be like, maybe it is good if you are a person that has more money than you have time. If you have a lot of money and you have very little time because you're so busy making money, you're like, well, I have all this money. I'm willing to pay a premium to get this thing for my kids or whatever for the holidays. Because I'm willing to spend more. Shouldn't I have the opportunity to go out and to buy one that wants to sell me one? And I think that from that person's perspective, this is actually a pretty good system. It's just the problem is that rich person's kind of, fuck them too. It's like the thing costs the price that companies are trying to sell it at, and just because you have more money, I guess should you really have more access? I don't necessarily agree with that. And it's like the difference between like companies could just sell these things as like an auction. Like Sony, like there is a possibility, there's a world where like Sony and Microsoft could be like, there is no price for these systems. How much are you willing to pay us? They could do that, and they don't. And the reason they don't is because, first of all, it's not very convenient, and this demand's not going to last forever, so it is a little bit complicated. But if in a world where it was super simple to do that, I don't even think they would then, because they are trying to build long-term relationships with their customers. They're not trying to just make the most bang on the buck on one transaction. They're trying to build a community, and it's the difference between trying to do the best in an economy versus trying to do the best in a community. And all of us live in both an economy and a community. And so it's like the reason that you didn't see companies like all charging a huge price for toilet paper during the pandemic. They just let it kind of sell out at a low price when, economists said, oh, you should raise the prices. You should raise the prices on toilet paper, because then people who need it the most will budget it out and say, okay, I actually will spend more because I actually really do need it. And the person that just has a lot of money and doesn't necessarily need it is not going to just keep buying it at that very high price just in case. It kind of balances. But we also live in a community, so you can't just look at things from an economic lens. And so I think that's one thing that when you try to judge resellers through that lens of a community, they're just bad. It's just bad. So yes, I wouldn't do it.
I agree with that.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I won't hit the Jeff 1 button again for the rest of the episode.
Great.
All right. This is from Chris Lofgren. What are your thoughts on the Series X and PS5 having such variable performances on different games? Call of Duty seems to play well on Series X, while PS5 seems to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla better. Do you think these differences will slowly go away to where we hardly see a difference at all?
Yes, on the latter.
Yeah.
I think some of it's just the funkiness of people taking last gen games and just optimizing it for these new systems, and there's a bunch of other variables and with new hardware and all that stuff. I've been playing. I played a little bit of the new Call of Duty for the first time last night, just multiplayer, and I played on PlayStation 5. So part of me's even like, what? Because to me, it looked great and it ran great. Right. So I'm like, all right, well, what? I'm sure if you get the Digital Foundry like side by side, you're like, oh, look, there's more lines of pixels on this version, and sure, that means something, but maybe it doesn't need to mean a lot.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way, because like I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla on Xbox Series X, and I'm like, oh, this runs great. I'm loving this. And then you go look at the Digital Foundry thing. It's like, well, in these specific circumstances, like we could clearly see there's an advantage of the PS5, and it seems like the reason is that the PS5 development tools are very, very well developed and very robust, and the developers love them, and so they're getting really good performance out of the PS5. And maybe the Xbox Series X will pull ahead eventually once those tools catch up, but they haven't yet. And so it's all this other, but it's like when you're just playing I think this is why this story is only kind of catching on. Like at the beginning of the last generation, we had similar stuff where it's like the Xbox One was not performing as well as the PlayStation 4, and people really obsessed on it for like a year. And a big part of that is like there weren't a lot of games, so all we had to talk about were like the third-party comparison games. But I think a big part of it was just the performance actually was so poor that any little bit of extra you can get from one console to the other really mattered. And here, I'm again playing Valhalla on the Xbox Series X. I wouldn't have noticed had they not had Digital Foundry not done the perfect side by side and really found those
Digital Foundry themselves even seems to be a little bit like upset that people are like taking this stuff a bit too seriously, and they're like, because it's becoming just like fanboy fodder, where like for whatever reason these people who are like obsessed with finding reasons why PlayStation is better or Xbox is better just like go in their videos like, look at this it's technically better at this thing, and then they get really mad and send mean messages to people. And I just don't think it's really that much of an issue right now.
Yeah, and I think I think things are they're going to iron out over time, without a doubt. I think by next year, these differences, I mean, one game probably will run better on each game might have a preferred system where it does run a little bit better. But I think, first of all, most people will be over it by then and won't care about those differences anymore because they'll just be so busy playing so many games that are coming out. And also, I think the differences are going to get smaller and smaller. And the baseline performance, like the worst case scenario, is going to be so good most people won't care. All right, let's see. From Daniel G360, what do you think Xbox will do with their controllers next? Apparently, they already had patents for adaptive triggers. Do you think any new features will be for the Elite 3? I think this is a good question, Mike. Where like, do you think that Microsoft will do a controller update here? Will it come in the Elite first?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's an interesting thing especially because like the base controller for Series X is so good. They might have to add a little something to the next Elite to make that seem like worth that expensive upgrade again. And everyone besides you is really impressed with the adaptive triggers, right? So
I've heard some other people echo my opinion, but go ahead. You can pretend it's just me.
You're an idiot. But yeah, so that seems like an easy place to go.
Yeah, I think that adaptive triggers are kind of a thing that Microsoft will put in here.
Plus, I mean, if people are already programming that into the PlayStation 5 versions of a game, then
right, and they already got it working on PC and stuff, and yeah, I think it's going to be the kind of thing where I think development tools are probably just going to start making it like, oh, if you add a sound to a specific physical object in a game, we're just going to add like the appropriate haptic thing there and the appropriate trigger behavior to that automatically, and you can turn it off if you want or change it, but we're going to make it really simple. I think like Unreal is almost certainly going to do this stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be something that could catch on, and Microsoft shouldn't miss out on it, I don't think so. But if they do add all that stuff, they should also add a really good speaker, because I think that's the most impressive thing. Read my story on gamesbeat.com about that. Let's see, from @Adrian, any insights if there will be an official 60 frames update for Bloodborne, also for Last of Us 2? I don't. I feel like no insight. I mean, yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, you would think, right? Why not?
My hunch for Bloodborne is it's just far enough away that getting back into it might be just enough work that they don't want to do it.
Yeah, I guess that's true, and we know that they're busy, right?
They're busy, yeah. And I
that's really something you can you. Is it easy to just farm that out, like get some other company in to increase the frame rate of an old game on your new system? I don't know. Like maybe that work has to be done by From Software, and maybe they're just too busy with their George R.R. Martin game right now.
Right, and it's like, and then at what that cost benefit sheet, like when you're looking at that. When does it cross over into being like, well, we need to just make it a Bloodborne remastered, and maybe we sell that alongside a Bloodborne 2 or whenever that comes out or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think Last of Us 2 will get some sort of big update, especially if they're
that one's weird to me. That one I'm kind of surprised it didn't like have something ready for when PlayStation 5 launched. Honestly, that one seems a little weird to me.
I think it's probably like they're still doing the multiplayer mode, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right. So they're still working, quote unquote, on that game, right? Like, and whatever their next thing is, it's in an earlier state of development. It hasn't been launched. So yeah. So like Bloodborne, who knows? Last of Us, like I'm surprised that didn't already happen.
Yeah. Oh, I like this question. All right, from Phil Hell. Hey, Mike and Astro Champion. Thank you.
Wow.
What do you think about Stadia's aggressive push, bundling controllers and Chromecast with YouTube Premium or Cyberpunk? Do you think they can keep selling games for full price, or will they have to go the subscription route?
I mean, I think it reeks of desperation a bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think very obviously they're like, wow, not enough people, they're like, not many people have Stadia. If we just start giving away the base unit, then more people will buy games. We can make up money there. It's the same reason why, like, you know, the Dreamcast cost $100 after a year it was out, or why GameCube had a bunch of price cuts. Like, it's basically a giant price cut, is what it is, because they're
Yep.
hoping well, people have the hardware, what quote unquote, for a system that supposedly doesn't need any hardware, and then they'll be invested, and then they'll want to get games. So
It could be
I
even
mean,
more desperate than that, right? It could just be like these things are sitting on warehouse shelves
yeah, it could
and
be
they
an
need to
inventory
like
thing,
stop
right?
paying for that. And so just get these things out of here any way you can. Or I guess we'll just
Right.
make them free. It could be
That's
that
like the
desperate.
super. That's the worst case scenario. So it could even be that bad. It's certainly, and again, it's like, who knows with Google? It's certainly looking to me like we're coming to the end of Stadia already, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean they launched early because they wanted to get ahead of like all the big run up to the new consoles. So they launched in 2019, and then a year went by, and no one cared. And now the new consoles are here, and Switch is so dominant. And if like you're looking for like if you're looking for a different way to play, something that fits into your life without having to like connect a big thing to the TV, uh, like there are better options obviously, but like the Switch alone, it just seems like
yeah,
such a better option because
it
it's
is.
like it's portable. You take it with you. You can plug it into the TV if you want. It's got awesome games. Has a ton of support. There's a lot of like content, like tertiary content from people like creators on YouTube and Twitch who are very excited to talk about it and tell you all the new games that are coming out and have huge conversations. Like they're building a community around it, and that stuff's just not happening with Stadia. And it's an aggressive push in that they are giving away something for free, but this does not feel to me like an aggressive push to the point where like, oh, they are looking to turn things around. If they're trying to turn things around, they have to change the way that they do business, the way that they sell games. Like the question suggests, like, do they have to go the subscription route? Absolutely. I mean, Amazon's Luna already looks more appealing because it's a subscription. It has like these channels where like you subscribe to something for like $5 a month, I think, for Ubisoft, and you just get all of their new games as they come out. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's different. That's like even better than the EA thing where it's like there's a $5 tier to get old games, and then to get the new games it's like $15 or something like that. Ubisoft's just like, no, on Amazon $5 a month and you could start playing Valhalla right now.
Stadia is just fundamentally kind of doomed. I mean, the
Yeah.
idea that it's its own platform, right? Where, and one thing, nice things about Amazon is that no, those are the PC versions of those games, so you can play with all of those people, and it's that infrastructure. Stadia's whole like insistence that it was like its own platform onto itself caused all these separate issues, right? And plus, there's the base promise of like, well, the cool thing about this is since it's cloud computing, like we can just make everything 4K, 60 frames per second. And then that just wasn't true. So like it's dead right there, right?
Yeah, and Luna has a huge advantage over it because Luna uses a Windows environment compared to the Linux environment of Stadia. So developers have to do a lot less work. Their games are already they're already gonna function. You just put them on the Amazon cloud, and then boom, it's
Right.
if you're a developer and you're trying to back a horse there, clearly Amazon's the option. I think
Like
it's wild.
one like after Cyberpunk comes out, which I feel like is one of the last major, like they signed on to Stadia early because they probably bought into like their pitch or whatever. Like, is anything out like are any more of these big games really going to be like, yeah, it's coming to Stadia too?
No,
It's just hard to
yeah, I don't
imagine.
think.
Like,
Yeah,
when was the last time they announced like, oh yeah, this is coming to Stadia?
yeah.
Like we heard about all these things in 2018 and maybe 2019, and like I think that's dried up.
Yeah, I think like imagine the people at CD Projekt Red that feel like they have, or that don't feel like have to get this game up and running on Stadia alongside all this other stuff. Their time would have been so much better spent getting a cloud version running on Switch. Like you know how
Mm-hmm.
we had the couple games to like come out on Switch now. Control is playable on
Mm-hmm.
Switch through the cloud everywhere now. You could buy it like
Hitman 3 is going to be playable through cloud.
yeah, and if they had done that with Cyberpunk on Switch instead, that would have made them so much more money than even a
Yeah.
deal probably with Google paying. If Google's paying them to be on Stadia, just putting it, without Nintendo paying a dime, the amount of money that they would have made from people buying the game to play it over the cloud on Switch would have been probably a much better deal. So I think other developers are going to look to this and be like, man, I don't want to be in that situation. Even if Google comes to us with money, do I want to be worried about a Stadia version? Like, that seems like a pain. If I'm struggling to get my game out anyhow because of everything that's going on, that just seems like another hell that I don't want to be dealing with. So, yeah. Let's see, a couple more questions. see. Okay, yeah. From Brendan Barr, what has been your favorite feature of the next gen systems that you don't see talked about too often? I think we've had similar stuff to this, but we can try to answer it again. Anything recently that you've discovered that you're really happy with?
I mean, do you have something? Because I'm thinking.
For me, it's I think the apps are pretty good. I really like using the apps to get details. I think they updated the apps for both Xbox and PlayStation. Both work pretty well. I think that there's some stuff in the PlayStation UI. The navigating the UI in PlayStation 5, I think, is still bad. But there's some cool things happening there where you get the notification that that's someone beat you in something. You can just jump right to it, or you can find details like, oh, how many times you played this one specific challenge inside a game. That was cool to see.
True.
Yeah, that was neat. And like, I actually found there's a more detailed leaderboard that actually does it to the third decimal point. So it gives you like the 2 digits and then 3 digits. And so like I could have seen if like when we tied that one time, I could have seen if like maybe you actually were really faster by like 1,000th of a second instead of like 100th or whatever.
Man,
yeah,
there can't be enough frames for it to.
I know I'm like, I really want to ask someone about that, right? Because like a frame is like what, like a 60 frames per second is like a 16th
of a second.
Yeah, 16 milliseconds, right? Something like that. So it's like 16 milliseconds. Can you have? Could like the suggestion there is if it goes like a more granular number than 16 milliseconds, is the character physically arriving at the spot before his image does? Is it like travel? Is it like the video game version of traveling faster than the speed of light? And I want to ask a developer. You don't think so? I don't think so either. But it's like, yeah,
right. That's insane. That's insane.
This is
how funny because in my review for PlayStation 5, I say, yeah, the UI is fine. It's nothing like great. And like now that I've had more time with it, I'm like, maybe the UI is bad. Actually,
it's bad, and I think it's going to look. I think it's not going to take any time for them to update it and start changing things real fast. Yeah. I think we're gonna hear that about it very soon. I bet when like they start talking about the next big update for the PlayStation 5. Once they get through all the bugs, it's going to be like, here's a huge update that adds a bunch of stuff and maybe shifts some stuff around, and then a year from now, by next holiday, that UI is going to look completely different. I think. So it is bad right now, but it doesn't bother me too much.
The way it handles like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions of games, like even Call of Duty, like that doesn't like I just went in and I was like, okay, install Call of Duty. Like I didn't see anything asking me what version to install. And like I left and I came back and it was like, oh, I see the PlayStation 4 version installed. And it's like, why would it? Can't it just know that like I'm on a PlayStation 5? Why? And I own both versions apparently. Why would I want to install the PlayStation 4 version?
It's like it's like such a weird version of people plugging their HD consoles into an SD TV or using like really bad cable, like using like a 480 cable on a TV that can do 720 and being like, oh, I got the next gen. Yeah,
but like, man, I don't know. It's insane.
It's very frustrating that I don't understand how it could ever have been made this way in the first place to have to address this problem. Well, why does it ever work like this? Why would anyone want to do this?
Remember how late it was when they showed us the UI? I feel like maybe the UI was the last thing that came together, right?
Yeah, and I think maybe they're like, we got everything working, but downloading games just works like this. We don't know why it does, but we have to just kind of launch it like this and hope people are okay for a little bit. It's hard to tell which game is like the PS4 version, the PS5 version too. And like there's one where it's like this guy got stuck with the PS4 version of Miles Morales on his PS5 and he couldn't figure out how to get it off and get the PS5 version instead. And he's like, I just give up. I'm gonna let my kids won't know the difference. They're just gonna play the PS4 version. And it's like that like kind of depressing to think like that's where we're at.
There's a ton of people. There are so many people who are playing PlayStation 4 versions of games and they have no idea.
Yep. On that same like vibe, people that don't use the stand in either on its side or even vertical they're driving me crazy. I knew this was going to happen, but please just use the stand, please. Like, don't just slap it on its side to like be like this weird teeter-totter thing that if you touch, it's going to rock. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. But yeah, whatever. These are things that don't matter too much, but they're fun to complain about.
Right, but exactly, they are points of criticism. But again, it's like then somebody's gonna take this and be like, "Yeah, see, PlayStation 5 sucks." Actually,
yeah, God, yeah, and no, that's not what we're saying. Last question. This is one I was on a podcast last week, and I brought this up. but we'll talk about it more here. All right. From Zeusrix, do you really think, or how likely is it that Forza Horizon 5 will be released next year? Microsoft needs a big surprise, and he was basically saying that's Microsoft needs more games. Is basically the rest of the tweet. So I this is like half speculation, half informed speculation. I think that there is a chance that Forza Horizon 5 will come out before the next Forza Motorsport. Even though they showed Motorsport already, I get that they did that. And that's why that's why this stuck out to me when I was kind of like sniffing around at some stuff, and I think maybe this is what's happening. I'm like, that'd be weird, because they've talked about the next Motorsport game, and they've showed it off, and they haven't said anything about the next Horizon game. And Playground is working on Fable as well. That's what they talked about with Playground Games. But that's another team at Playground, and if we're sticking to like the original schedule of like every other year for these Forza games, this game is definitely ready. And I think I've heard the setting, which I'm not gonna say, but it sounds exciting, and I think that if you're Microsoft and you do have a bunch of games that are going to be 2022, if this game can be ready for 2021, I would definitely push it out if I were them. And
you told me what you think the setting is. Maybe this is my chance now to finally get some of those leaker points.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, fine then. You can say it.
No, absolutely not. That sounds terrifying. I can't handle that pressure.
You will totally be a reset era thread and all this other shit. Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm gonna keep flying under that radar. I'll let you do the dangerous stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll look into it a little bit more, and maybe we'll come back in a few weeks and talk about it and see if that stuff solidifies. But I think most people are kind of the hunch that some people have had, I think, is probably right. So yeah, but to me, I think there is a strong possibility this game is out in 2021. Not a guarantee. This is not a report where I'm saying this is Microsoft's plan or anything like that. This is, like I said, informed speculation, and to me, I think it's a strong possibility. And that's the most I'll say right now.
Are you excited for? I just remembered this news for an unrelated reason, but are you excited for The World Ends With You too?
No, I tried The World Ends With You and I never got into it.
I guess it's pretty weeby for your taste, huh?
Especially at that point when it came out. Steph played it actually. I had it on DS, and she was playing like Henry Hatsworth, and she finished that and stuff, and she was looking for something else to play, and I'm like, well, try this. And I think she played it for a little bit. I think the music was a bit too repetitive for her. I think it was good music. It's good music, but it was like, I think it looped a little bit too quickly, and I think she got a little annoyed with that. So, and I remember being like, oh, that music's pretty good, and then hearing it loop and be like, yeah, okay, that is annoying.
There's the Astro's Playroom music looping for that level. You turned that audio off.
I play the whole system on mute, and I just listen to the controller sounds, which haven't got annoying. They continue to be very good.
Hey, real quick, RDX Master Keith gave us $7 in Canadian. He said, Assassin's Creed patch to tearing, 60 frames per second on Series S, performance and quality mode added for Series S and X. And yeah, it's like, people are coming in, they're patching these things, they're making improvements where they need to.
And I think that's what we're going to like. I think this happened a lot last generation, and it happened less near the end, right? Where like, a game would come out and it would be kind of a little bit of a mess. Not too bad. Some situations there were big messes, but games would be kind of okay, and then a patch would come in and be like, oh no, this game runs fine now. And I think we're going to see a lot of that early on.
Another 280 Canadian dollars from RDX Master Keith just to fix a typo he had. It's no tiering, not two tiering. Make more typos.
Yeah, shout out to typos. Thank you for that, Master Keith. Which is a good name. That's a good name.
But I like The World Ends With You a lot. It was one of my favorite DS games. So I'm like cautiously excited about this. I wonder if you can really capture that again. Plus, like one of the cool things about that game was the way how you played like the top screen and the bottom screen at the same time. Like they were both doing their own battles, which doesn't really seem like the system they're using for the new one. So I'm curious.
I should give it. Someone's asking for a hint in chat, and about Forza.
I did give a hint, honestly, so we can leave it at that. To be completely fair,
that's true. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, yes, fair enough. And I'll save this one for another time because I think it's fun. But you're right. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I think I liked. I liked what I saw when I watched people play The World with you, and it's been so long though. I think they're in a point where they have to like recapture the magic, like you said, and I think it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. Why is it called Neo? Is it called Neo? The World Ends With You? Is that really what it's called?
Neo, The World Ends With You because people hate numbers now because it makes Well, yeah, but nobody uses numbers anymore because everyone's terrified that like people are gonna feel like they missed out and they have to play some older one, right? Everything's subtitles or weird things now. I mean, even Halo's not Halo 6 anymore now. It's Halo
You're right.
Infinite, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Everyone hates numbers.
Yep.
Like, it's just one of those arbitrary marketing things that somebody decided. Hey, more from RDX Master Keith, another $7 Canadian. Microsoft called them and gave them pointers. Will this happen more until they get used to the new tools? I mean,
yes. Yes.
Yep.
Well, I think I think what happened was that Sony focused on making their tools very, very good to the point where they probably don't have to make those calls. I heard rumblings that maybe some of the sports games were having issues on PS5 months ago, and it was never like this is going to be a problem for sure at launch. It was always the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, games run bad before they launch, so that this is not a big deal. And I think that the tools just made it so that developers who aren't used to like the PS5's like rising and falling, a console having a rising and falling clock speed on CPU and CPU, the tools just help developers deal with that and make it not an issue, which is what you want. And I think Microsoft will have to make these calls until they can get their tools in a similar position. And that's not as smooth for developers, but it's something that they could definitely address, and it's not going to be a long-term problem. Most of the problems, the majority of problems that we've talked about with both these consoles so far are just not going to be long-term problems. I think this is going to end up being a very good generation where most people are happy throughout, and 6 months from now, we probably will stop talking about most of these issues overall entirely. Mike, should we talk about some games a little bit? Get out of here. So I've mostly been playing Astro.
Yeah, me too. I've been playing a lot of Astro, but I've been playing some other things. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I have. I played one other game. Let's wrap up Astro and then we'll do those. I think I played through most of the rest of it. I still haven't beat it. Actually, that's
right. Because last week I was very mad at you because despite playing it for like 60 hours, you were like, "It's fine." And
yeah.
I was like, "I hate you."
And I think I had played like there was like two of the stage, like the CPU stage and one of the other. I don't know what it was, but they were okay. And then
played the corn stage and the CPU stage, and they were also both very good stages, to be clear. But fine.
I just wasn't like blown away. And then I played the rest, and I don't know. It got better. I think the rest of that game that I played was very
very excited when you saw Jumping Flash, didn't you?
I like that. I like that reference. Absolutely. Yeah. I told my kids, "Hey, look at Bunny," and they like that. But it was, I don't know. I think that they just keep going and it keeps getting more, and like there's more stuff happening on screen, and it looks so good. And I think like the space stage was very appealing. Like just got us a great visual style. You were right. It's a very good game. It's absolutely in my top 10 for game of the year without a doubt. Obviously, at this point, how much I've played it.
It'd be kind of at this point. I feel like you're obligated.
I think that to me that's like what's so good about games, and this is why it should be on there. Is like I haven't beat it. I don't necessarily know because I'm at the point where it's like it's telling me, oh, there's something in the basement, and I went down there one time.
Go do that for 5 minutes.
I will beat it, but it's like I don't feel the urge. Like I fell off the edge once, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing the speed runs. But I'm having so much fun with the speed runs, and I think that's a completely fair and viable way to enjoy a video game. And it's my decision to like play the game this way, and I'm having probably more fun than most people had just playing through it straight ahead. And I think that's a really cool thing about games. And this game, with its really good implementation of speedruns and having all the speedruns come together for like one big speedrun time, I think that stuff works so well that it definitely needs to be honored for that. I mean,
there's hundreds of games with leaderboards. There must be some reason why this is the one we decided to have a weird feud over. It's fun. It's fun to play.
Yeah,
we got 7 more Canadian dollars from RDX Master Keith. Said a dev confirmed on RDX dealer that Series X has room to go past 120 frames per second. I'm sure. I think I don't know if they would want to.
Right. I think it might have in certain games without a doubt, because like Ori was running at what, like 6K 120 frames per second. So it's like obviously if they do it stick it at 4K, they could have gone over 120 frames per second. But the HDMI standard is I think it's most of it is capped at 120. I think you can at least at 4K. Maybe it can go over, but then you're worried about the display, and TVs are not doing more than 120 frames per second.
All right, I drank my beer and I drank my Coke Zero. I'm out of liquids. Let's move on.
All right, good job. This one came out months ago. I'm playing it on the Switch again. I'm trying to finish it. It's that game where like you play as like a little like like if you see like a sign at work and it tells you, oh, don't slip, the floor is wet, like one of the
Oh,
guys
like
that's on the
cat,
sign.
like hanging in there.
Yeah, and you play Sam, and you're like doing all these kinds of physical
Oh, okay.
puzzles.
Never mind. I got a completely different idea. Okay, yes, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
Like
the wet floor sign guy, or
yeah,
like the bathroom sign guy. Um,
yes.
and basically it's just it's this simulation of physics where like you need to figure out how to like do these various puzzles, and everyone around you is just continuing the workday while you are destroying everything around you. Like you're breaking down walls to make sure like make a shorter path.
You love games where you're just a jerk and like you mess
Oh
around with
yeah.
people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this one's very good at that because it's just like you are clearly like a jerk. Like you're trying to solve problems that people have. You're doing it in a really destructive way, and they're just kind of like you can fill in the blank in your head of like how they're reacting to it. And I like that a lot. But I don't know. It's one I just wanted to check in on because I didn't beat it. And going back to it, I'm like, I think I like it even more this time. So it's one I would recommend to people for sure. I don't know if it's going to make like my top 10 list, which is kind of where I'm at right now with every game I'm playing. It's like, where's it going to fit in my top 10? But it's probably, it's going to be close. I like it quite a bit. But that's it for me, Mike. What else you been playing?
Um, so I've talked about I started Call of Duty just playing multiplayer last night with my brothers, which I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's fun. It's reliable. What's interesting for me is that I was playing on PlayStation 5, and usually I'm like, I gotta play shooters on PC, but I wanted to try the console
Right.
version because it's new and it looks really good. And
And for the DualSense, right?
what?
And for the DualSense, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I know I've yelled at you a lot for not liking the DualSense as much as me, but I thought that was super great how good it feels just having those adaptive triggers. Like, for like the left trigger is almost like it has that resistance. So like aiming down the scope just kind of it feels better. I don't know why. And then like each gun seems to almost have its own profile for the right trigger when you're firing. And it just feels so good. And the extra vibration, oh, I was enjoying it. Like I think ultimately I would still just prefer the precision of a mouse and
Sure, yeah.
keyboard. Like
But it's a
it's
fun
funny.
new
Like,
thing.
yeah, when I'm playing like this, like I barely even think about headshots. It's just a matter of like, oh, there's a person,
Yeah.
like left trigger, start shooting. Like the weird auto aim tracking will help me a bit. Just shoot their
Yeah.
body enough that they die.
Yeah, Call of Duty's so fast with such a fast time to kill that it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you just get in there, get some body shots, totally.
yeah. But it's been fun. I'm never a big Call of Duty fan, but I was just playing with my brothers and having a good time. It was interesting that I was on PlayStation 5, my older brother was on Xbox Series X, and my younger brother was on PC. So that's some interesting future stuff right there.
Yeah, I got it on PC. I haven't started it yet, but I will. I really want to play Squadrons first, and then I'll probably dip into Call of Duty.
Yeah, I gotta play more Squadrons really.
Yeah.
But World of Warcraft 2 expansion came out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
People seem pretty happy with it from what I can like gather from Twitter or
yeah, they
whatever.
do. And I feel like I'm on the lower end of that. But it's just a thing with me and like modern WoW in general, in the way that they do questing and leveling up, where it almost feels like a formality. Like it's all very easy, and like the zones are very pretty. And they look nice. I'm not a fan of like how I don't like how narrative driven it is anymore, where it's very much like you do this quest, then this quest, and this quest, and these people are talking to you constantly. Like, and maybe it's because I just played WoW Classic not too long ago, but like I really loved once again just being like, I'm an adventurer and I'm gonna wander around and like I'm gonna do these two quests here, and they're not necessarily going to like lead to 10 other sequential quests that end with me fighting some kind of like giant demon or something. Maybe I'm just gonna go kill some wolves for this guy and give him some wolf meat and stuff like that. Which, because I've been praising Final Fantasy 14, and Final Fantasy 14 is very much does what World of Warcraft does now, where it's very story focused
Right.
and much more linear. But at least there, the normal fights are more interesting, right, and consequential. There was this microcosm of all the problems, I think, in the beginning, where there's like the introduction questing thing you're doing in the new expansion, and you're on a bridge, and there's like 3 saw blades on the bridge. So it's like, ooh, look out for the saw blades. But they're like, there's so much room between them that like 3 characters could probably fit. And if you touch the saw blade on like purpose, it would take away like a quarter of your health, and there's no enemies nearby. So it's like why are these here? Like, I could almost just hear the meaning in my head.
Yeah.
Where someone's like, oh, there's something interesting here. Let's put some saw blades. Like, well, don't make sure no one can actually get killed by them though. I feel bad. And so yeah. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a lot better than it's better than BFA. I think World of Warcraft has kind of just resigned itself to the idea that the end game is really the only game people care about now. That's why leveling up takes like 1/10 of the time that it does in classic. And I kind of like it where leveling up feels like the game too, and is interesting in its own right. And it still is that in Final Fantasy 14, even though it's so much more story focused, just like Warcraft is now. So I don't mean to be poo-pooing on a bit, but like I am like when I'm playing through it, sometimes I am just bored because it is all
Yeah.
very easy, and it feels like, well, these are just the things I have to do, and everybody else is going to do them. Whereas when you played World of Warcraft like in 2005, it was like not every person you knew was level 60 even. Most of them weren't probably. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just waxing poetic a bit, and maybe my experience has been really colored by playing classic within the last year.
Yeah,
Classic,
honestly, that's kind of what it sounds like. It sounds like you like reset your perspective on it, and you're like, oh, I see where this game has gone now, and it's maybe moved away from me a little bit, and like you obviously you moved along with it, and there was improvements made that you benefited from and were happy with, but you're like, I think the philosophy of this game is different than the one that you enjoyed when you were playing classic. And
right. And I think I'll be like, I still want to get to max levels. I think I'll be happy when I'm just doing, end game content. I'll be doing dungeons and I'll be doing raids. And I think that stuff will be good and it'll be fun and I'll be healing and I'll be enjoying that. But it's like at this point, it's like, this is the stuff I have to do to get there. And I almost wish that stuff was either like really interesting in its own right and like felt like a game still, or like, I don't know, just not what it is.
I hear you. Do you want to do Master Keith's super chat, then Dragon Quest 3 and get out of here?
Yeah, we got $7. Once again, man, Master Keith, just let it flow today.
Thank you so much, Master Keith.
Yeah, you think people who work 8 hours plus a day will get annoyed with haptics? No, I don't know. Like I've been playing that same level in Astro forever. At a certain point, you kind of get used to it, and you're not necessarily thinking about it constantly.
I think it'll
it's interesting, and you can tell, and you can always. I think you could turn them off anyways if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's gonna break down like the 3DS did, where I always kept the 3D on, and even when I'm like trying to compete in Astro and all these different things, I'm keeping this stuff on because I do like it, and I'm the kind of person that likes these gimmicks. But I think there's gonna be people who are just like, oh no, I turn that stuff off right away. I don't want to deal with that. I'm just here for this other stuff. And I think it will break down along lines of like someone who is working all day and just wants to have their calming experience versus like maybe younger players who are like, no, I want everything. Throw everything at me. I can handle all that stuff. And also people who have old hands and arthritis just won't want to deal with this stuff, but that's different.
You turn. I mean, honestly, I think it's benefited me in Astro because like it does help to like, you get a little bit of feedback when you land on a platform or something, right? I'm like, well, that's good. Now I know I'm on, like, and we are at the point with some of these things where like you have to jump the second you land on something. So it's important.
Yep, totally. Dragon Quest 3.
We're like an hour and 10 minutes. What the hell?
I don't know what happened. I think we just went along on all the questions. Yeah. Do you want to get out of here?
I mean, I'm not like trying to kick you out or something.
No, my question, do you want to talk about Dragon Quest 3 or should we end the episode? You tell me, Mike. You're in charge here.
I'll talk about that later. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I'll maybe beat it by next week, then I can really talk about it.
All right, that sounds good. All right, let's get out of here then. Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on Twitter at Tolkoto, Tolkoto. You can look out for when I post my next. Get it out of there. My next Astros Playroom score that's going to beat Jeff's. Probably not today. I'm probably not going to play today. Maybe tomorrow, though. And check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com. I believe we're doing a Nightmare Before Christmas episode soon to get us all in the Christmas spirit.
And I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I think I have like 30 seconds now this music started. My other podcast, How Games Make Money, you can find that wherever podcasts are found. And youtube.com/Jeffrey Grubb. If you're listening to the audio version of the show, you can come join us each week live. All right, Mike, till next week. Should the people have a good one? Take care of themselves and goodbye and all that?
Sure.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.